guys, we're back for another Dokkan battle video, and we are here for me, what was the hardest stage by far, to get a no item run in, and that, of course, is this right here. Extreme Fusion. Super Battle Road, far and away the hardest run I've had to do. Now, while I was recording this, okay, so I guess there's a lot to talk about, right? Again, this is by far the hardest of any of the stages that I had to do, right? I struggled with this one for like 2 months. I was streaming over on the 5-9 Gaming channel, and we would do hours and hours of attempts. Finally, I was like, you know what? I'm ready to beat this. So I did, it was like a 9 or 10 hour stream where we just went through like runs every single, like just constantly. And sort of from that, I got like a full understanding of exactly more so who to target in the second and third fight for sure, right? Like, cause again, like I've done a lot of runs on this. How many runs in total? I mean, it had to have been at least 300 plus. I mean, I don't know. It all blends together after a while. The other thing about doing actual runs on this fusion stage here is that, okay, the first fight's really not that bad. It just depends on what Spopovich does, because I'm using a very int-heavy team. So, like, if Spopovich decides to super attack Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, we really don't have any issues, right? Like, you know, Go tanks, after he super attacks, his defense is really good, even in base. So, you know, if we just don't get destroyed by Spopovich, usually we're pretty good in this first fight. But the second fight is, like, beyond brutal. It is devastating, that second fight. And then the third fight, you know, in my 300, 400, 500 plus attempts, I only made it to the final fight against the Boos, like, I don't know, 10 to 15 times or something like that. The second fight is just so unfair. It's just like, it's ridiculous. Because the Fusion team, it's like all of these dudes are like huge offensive powerhouses with not a lot of defense, is basically how the Fusion team works. Okay, so again, I did countless attempts. I guess I'll talk about the actual units I'm using on this team, and then after that, I guess I will talk more so about units that I'm not running, such as LR Physical Gogeta, the STR Go tanks, maybe some of those Heroes fusions who potentially could help, but again, I'll go over why I didn't even really try and use them. Now, I do want to add that during this run specifically, I remember I actually was like scheduling like videos for the day, so it's like there's gonna be a lot of periods like this where it's like I'll sort of like writing info and then going back to it, because I mean, you know, this was attempt number 572 or something like that, right? Like, you know, you never know it's the run until it's the run. I went through and I cut out, there was at least one portion where I was thinking about what to do for, it was like for 4 minutes. I went through and cut out some of the dead parts here, but there's undoubtedly still going to be some like that. Like, you know, okay, that's big, right? Like, all right, I guess let's talk about the buff. So there was a buff in Dokkan recently. What was it, in the middle of January, I believe, where they changed all 50% chances, all high chances, to be 50%, right? This affected a lot of units that had one-turn stuns. But more importantly for this run, they changed characters that had a medium chance. All medium chances became a 30% chance. That is a direct buff. I believe, I think the LR Blue Gogeta, his additional was 25. No, I think it was 30. But regardless, AGL Blue Gogeta, his dodge chance went from 25% to 30%. Now, if you guys remember, I have always said for a very long time that I've always felt the difference between 35% and 25%. I've always been able to feel the difference that it gives. It seems to me like the 30% has always been much more powerful. So that helps us out a lot, right? Because AGL Gogeta has a 30% chance to dodge. Int EZA Super Gogeta also has a 30% chance to dodge. So we have multiple units with their chances to dodge. You know, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, you know, is probably my pick for best TUR in Dokkan. And, I mean, he really does, I think, heavily carry the load in this. Basically, the reason this run was so difficult is because a lot of times, like, if we finish this first fight, like, notice So I use Gogeta's active skill, which debuffs the enemy's attacks by 40% and gives Gogeta an extra 40% attack and defense. Notice I'm attacking Spopovich beyond overkill. The reason for this is because Gogeta is so much better than every other unit on this team, at least until the LR Blue Gogeta transforms, that, like, he has to, it's pretty much a must. Going into the second fight, he, like, borderline must be on the first rotation in that second fight, or you've got no chance. You have no chance. Oh, by the way, bitch! So, like, it just gets very, very difficult, because it's like I have to micromanage, like, you know, actually making it through this first fight while not taking a lot of damage, but also trying to, like, set it up to where we go into this next fight and we finish this fight off with the off rotation, so that Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta can be in slot 1 in the next fight. The other thing about Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta being in slot 1, turn 1 in these fights, is that then gives him a realistic opportunity to use his active skill, again, which is devastating. Like, that turns where Gogeta has his active skill, he tanks super attacks for double-digit damage in here. Like, he is beyond belief, but it's a lot of RNG and stuff like that, right? All right, so let me just go through a lot of the units, go over what they do. Again, we'll talk about units I don't bring for this run. Again, after 500 plus attempts on this, I really feel like you probably could get a run done with the LR physical Gogeta and maybe some of the attack lowers and the sealers, but it's like they barely were able to survive OG Fusion Super Battle Road. This is extreme. Like, I know that there was a link level update, but I think those Heroes units, they need an awakening before you're going to be able to do this with them, I think. I don't have them link leveled up, so I've not really attempted it, but I don't know how viable of a strategy that is, right? All right, so Int Gogeta. Int Gogeta here is, I think for the purposes of this run, probably the third most important unit. This Gotenks and Ghost, I would say, is the second most important unit. But this Gogeta, you know, we'll see him around a 3 million attack stat, depending upon the situation. He's super effective against all types. He lowers enemy attack on super, and he raises defense by 30% on super attack as well. So, I mean, Gogeta, with 1 Rainbow Orb, has a 30% chance to dodge. With 2 Rainbow Orbs, he gets a 40% attack buff. Then with 3 Rainbow Orbs, he gets a 50% chance to crit. So Int Gogeta can really carry a lot of the load. I feel most comfortable with him in slot 1 of the off rotation than I do even, like, you know, AGL Gogeta or any of the other units. Again, keep in mind that I do keep LR Blue Gogeta in slot 3, like, every single turn, because in slot 3, he's okay. So look at this. Horrible luck. Right away, I was really bummed, because, like, this was a pretty good run up to this point, obviously. And then Bobbity tags me the super attack right away, which is just really bad. I mean, it is good for Gogeta to take a hit to get closer to his active skill, but it's just annoying. This kind of saved me right here. A double super attack by Gogeta. I believe we kill Pui Pui right here. So I've always noticed that Pui Pui is, like, the meme is that Deborah just kills me over and over and over in this second fight. But Pui Pui is actually, like, the only unit that can hurt Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, even before he super attacks with normal attacks. So I like to get rid of Pui Pui as quick as possible. People were always asking me, oh, why don't, wow, we got hit with that too, huh? But they always ask, why don't you go for Deborah? Kill Deborah first. The reason I don't kill Deborah first, Deborah has so much more health than the other enemies on here that, like, you know, if every single unit on this first rotation attacked Deborah, like, he's got, like, half health left. It's just, we're opening up more avenues for the enemy to super attack me over and over and over. The point is to whittle their numbers down as quickly as possible. Anyone that tries to do these super battle attempts will tell you what makes this, like, ridiculous is when you have these fights where there's like 60 dudes here trying to super attack you. That's where it gets frustrating. You need to whittle the numbers down so that, like, RNG can actually play in your favor. So that's sort of the point of getting rid of Pui Pui as quickly as possible. Yakan has more health than Pui Pui, but he has a lower amount as well. And then Bobbity and Deborah are both a bit stronger, right? Now, this rotation, I guess, is okay. Because all 3 of these units right here are pretty good defensively after they super attack. But again, it's the same sort of super AGL problem where it's like we have units that need the super attack first, then they're really good defensively. The good news is that Int Gogeta, at the very least, does still have his 30% chance to dodge, so I'm usually most comfortable with him in slot 1. And again, if he would by any chance double super, it would be very difficult to damage Int Gogeta. So that's really good, because Dabura would do like 70k on a normal right there. Because I've done so much damage to Babidi already, I figured, like, why don't we just go ahead and get rid of Babidi? And then after Gogeta super attacks, and then he debuffed Babidi as well, he's just taking double-digit damage. So that's why it's like, Int Gogeta. See, like, I remember I was saying, like, when this guy, Int Gotenks and Ghost, when he got his EZA, I was thinking, oh, maybe the fusion stage will be possible. Like, that was, like, before Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta came out, and before Int Gogeta got his EZA. I don't know, like, we barely skated through this with all of these recent additions to this team. So, yeah, this is just because Gogeta, or this fusion stage is not, like, you're not supposed to be able to no item this already. Like, I brute force this with just, like, tons and tons of attempts, right? So, again, here's Gogeta's active skill. So he gets a 40% attack and defensive buff for himself, and he lowers all enemies' attack by 40%. So this makes this turn much more bearable, right? We're not really going to have to worry about taking a lot of damage on this turn. Gogeta should be able to just do one hit and get rid of Babidi right here. He should be able to, but we will see. AGL Gogeta. I bring AGL Gogeta because his defense is, like, not great. It's okay. It's around 100k-ish. But he does have that 30% chance to dodge as well, and then he does hit very hard still, because he'll be around 2 million, but he's super effective against all types. So AGL Gogeta is hitting pretty hard, along with the chance to dodge. Basically, I deemed it that, like, in order to get through this run, we needed to rely on, like, dodges and stuff like that. Like, that was the most important thing to make it through this run, was we just needed to, like, I needed a run where it's like, all right, when they super attack, we're dodging those super attacks and shit like that, right? And then, of course, in order to make it through this fight as well, I need to sort of keep Dabura stun locked, or, you know, just keep him down from being able to just destroy us over and over and over, right? So I guess I should talk about that Int Gotenks and Ghost. So that unit is really good. Creates rainbow orbs, then heals a large amount of health per rainbow orb, right? And it is a nuking unit, Gotenks and Ghost. So the more orbs we get them, the better offensively they are, defensively they are, and then, you know, with rainbow orbs they get, I believe, 30% attack and defense, and then also healing. So, like, this rotation does work pretty well. I remember thinking my best bet was to have Gotenks and Ghost and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta on rotation at the same time, but we actually, you know, the winning run didn't even have that. But this works out really well, because with Gotenks and Ghost creating rainbow orbs, it's like literally every single turn I can get as many rainbow orbs as I wanted for, like, both Gogeta and Gotenks and Ghost, right? So that's really good, because again, I've had many runs die because, like, we would start the fight out and then there's no rainbow orbs, and then Int Gogeta becomes a sitting duck. Like, the 30% chance to dodge he gains along with everything else he does makes him so brutally powerful, right? I should point out my hidden potential for Gotenks and Ghost. I have full additional on them, because, like, right here, this very well may have saved the run right here. We don't get the stun, but I have full 20 additional on Gotenks, and then he gets the stun on the second super attack. Look at Gogeta, 3.38 right there. Very powerful. My Gotenks and Ghost also has 10 dodge, by the way. The thing about my fusion team is that every single unit on this team I have is full level 10 links. They all have good equips at every single slot. Like, this team is absolutely completely maxed out. Like, there's, like, that's another reason, like, people are coming in like, oh, use this unit, use that unit. And it's like, well, I already put all my resources into this team, because I feel like this is the best way to go about this. Now, Int Gotenks is another character a lot of people would come in, because again, I was streaming this, and every 5 minutes a new person comes in and goes, why aren't you using physical Gogeta with the Goku and Vegeta unit? You should use them. It's like, no, they suck for this. Like, not actually, but it's like, hold on, let me talk about Int Gotenks. I'll get to them. So, oh, by the way, I should point out, again, after my bajillion runs going through this event, I felt most comfortable using the Dokkan attack in this second fight, so we go into the final fight with full health. I felt like that was a much better way to do this, because trust me, I've gotten to the last fight use the Dokkan attack first turn, it does nothing to them. I believe Kid Buu has 11 million HP and Fat Buu has 9 million HP. Like, Whippy, use the Dokkan attack, you take off 1/4 of Kid Buu's health. Like, it does nothing. Like, you're much better off going into the final fight like this, with full health. So, now, the only problem is, we're going into the final fight without Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta on rotation. He is the king. So it's very, very nerve-wracking. But this third fight, I think, is not as difficult as the second fight because there's only 2 enemies. So, like, what we can do is I can debuff one of them with Int Gogeta, and then we could stun one of them with Gotenks and Ghost. And then that's going to keep us absolutely in business moving forward, right? So again, the Int Super Saiyan Gotenks, the transforming Gotenks, the reason I bring him is after he super attacks, even in base defensively, he is very good. I also have given him near full additional. I think he also has 20 additional, my Int Gotenks. No, he has 22 additional, my Int transforming Gotenks does. So with that, you know, he gets 50% defense on super attack. Typically, defensively, then he is very, very good. And then once he becomes Super Saiyan, he can triple super while giving himself 50% defense on every super attack, and he has a 70% chance to stun on every super attack. The Int transforming Gotenks actually was a really strong option for these runs, but I just feel like a lot of people didn't really give a lot of credit to that Int Gotenks. Again, he is very, very good. The Int Gotenks, again, I consider myself a big fan of that unit. And I believe, you know, his stunning does actually save us here because what a lot of people were trying to tell me to do was to bring the STR Gotenks. Okay, here's the thing about the STR Gotenks, right? With multiple enemies, he gives a support type buff, which is nice. But himself, he is not as good defensively as the Int transforming Gotenks is. And it's like, people think of like turn 1, like, oh, you know, turn 1 when there's a million enemies and stuff like that. But that Gotenks, if he does not get his stun off, the STR Gotenks is a 30% chance to stun, he gets skull fucked by the enemies. Like, it's Int Gotenks is far superior. And then especially, like, you know, after you get to like the third turn where the Int Gotenks is actually able to transform, then at that point, he is able to really, you know, raise his defense and get the stun chance and stuff like that. Like, in my head, though, I was thinking it wasn't even close. Like, the Int Gotenks was a way better option to use here than the STR Gotenks. I also was thinking of this fight, too, by the way. I already am carrying 2 STR units, both LR Blue Gogetas. I did not want to bring STR Gotenks. And again, for every 50 attempts I did in this stage, I would make it to this third fight. I did not want to do, you know, my 50 attempts, get to this fight, you know, make it to turn 3 about to win, only for STR Gotenks to get me killed. I just wasn't interested in that, right? Because, you know, you make it to turn 3 with the Int transforming Gotenks, and he starts carrying the team. So, that's sort of the reason I went for him over the, whatchamacallit, the STR Gotenks. Now, LR Physical Gogeta. I think what it is with LR Physical Gogeta is I think there's a lot of... It's funny, I took a screenshot right there. I was like, yeah, I'm sending this to Goresh so he could see how close I was in this run before I inevitably die. But that right there is what probably... The reason we probably win is Gogeta dodging those 2 attacks right there, right? So now we can debuff Kid Buu, but then we get the double super attack. Because my Int Gogeta, also, again, my team is like fully built up. My Int Gogeta has 20 additional. So now Gogeta double defensive buff, and he debuffed Kid Buu twice, and he raised his defense twice. I mean, even if we got hit by that super attack, it might have only done like 100k damage. Then we get the stun on physical Fat Buu, and it's like, oh wow, this actually might be the run. This is insane, right? Like, we actually really might have done this. Now, Blue Gogeta could take damage here, but again, Kid Buu is double debuffed, so it's not really going to be probably that big of a deal. Yeah, 56, that's definitely survivable, right? All right, so the LR Physical Gogeta. What I assume is that LR Physical Gogeta has been on numerous banners. that free-to-play players are very likely to summon on, and I think for a lot of free-to-play players, they might have, that might be one of their only rainbowed, like, top-tier Dokkan Fest or something like that, to where that's one of their best units. So, like, that's one of their best characters, so they think, oh, well, aren't using him? The reason is because that Goku and Vegeta does not work that great with a lot of these fusions, right? Yeah, they do have Prepared for Battle with AGL Blue Gogeta, and then also with the Int Gogeta, but, like, Int Gogeta is way better than them, and he needs Rainbow Orbs. At least better than them for this run, right? He needs Rainbow Orbs. Gotenks and Ghost needs Rainbow Orbs. To have a third unit that I then need to funnel Rainbow Orbs to is not great. A unit that's not going to link up rather well with the team, right? They would suck with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, they'd suck with the 2 Gotenkses, and they'd suck with the LR Blue Gogetas. The Goku and Vegeta physical Gogeta unit would only work with AGL Gogeta or the Int Super Gogeta. That's it. And it's basically just Prepared for Battle that they have. Prepared for Battle, Super Saiyan Fierce Battle. I mean, yeah, that's fine, but they would struggle for Ki. And I'm just not interested in micromanaging another small detail like that. This is actually good. Kid Buu connects with this super attack. He's double debuffed for 3 turns, remember. So he only did 180 right there, and it was after Gogeta's super attack. But because of the fact that that connected, we're going to be able to use Gogeta's active skill on the next turn. So that was actually pretty helpful, that Kid Buu's super attack connected right there. The other thing, too, physical Gogeta as the leader of the team, I wanted the extra defense that LR Blue Gogeta was giving us. LR Blue Gogeta is 150% across the board. LR Goku and Vegeta and AGL Blue Gogeta both give 130% defense, which I was not interested in. What was insane to me, so many people acted like LR Blue Gogeta is the weak link. The amount of slander that this unit right here gets is just disgusting to me. Absolutely disgusting. These units are good. LR Blue Gogeta, LR Blue Vegeta are good, but, like, they're not designed to be run in slot 1 in base. You just have to play to the unit's strengths. LR Blue Gogeta was fine for this run. He was not the weak link. He's better than the Goku and Vegeta. Goku and Vegeta, with their level of defense, this is a big portion I cut. This right here, I cut this right here. This is like 5 minutes of me deciding what to do. Because I was thinking, like, are you kidding me? They really attacked 60 times at the start. That's how unfair is that? But the good news is that Kid Buu is still debuffed, double debuffed from Gogeta's last turn. So it's like, really, it comes down to this. As long as physical Fat Buu does not super attack in slot 1, we're good. Basically is how it works. And then Int Gotenks got every single defensive proc. He has 2 separate 50% chances to get 50% defense, the Int Gotenks does on super attack, and he got them both. So his defense is super high. So we're going to get a good amount of healing with these orbs right here, right? So again, we're in a pretty good position. So that's the reason I didn't bring the LR physical Gogeta. Again, their leader skill was not the greatest. Then of course, you know, AGL Blue Gogeta, I didn't want to use him as a leader either. I felt very comfortable with LR Blue Gogeta. If there was a unit I was going to take off the team, like, let's say they dropped, like, because STR Vegito exists, when they drop the version of Gogeta, like, I'm going to be able to no item this in one try with that unit, right? Like an exact replica of STR Vegito, but it's Gotenks. And by the way, we didn't dodge either of those attacks, but we did manage to survive and kill Fat Buu anyway. When that unit comes out, this will be easy, but, like, obviously, like, I need to actually, like, I wanted to get this run done now, right? The first unit I would take off would probably be AGL Gogeta, and then probably this Gotenks second. But, like, look at this, dude. He has a 70% chance to stun. Every one of these super attacks gives him 50% defense, and he could triple super. Like he triple supers for me routinely. Like, it's not even that rare. So there, like, that Gotenks was not like a weak link or anything like that. Like, I felt very comfortable bringing him in. I love this. Finally, the RNG is really good for me. All 3 units double super on this turn, which is absolutely just beautiful. And then I believe this last turn we actually get it done. So there we go. There was Fusion, no item. I am the first person to have every single stage in the game no items. Every extreme Super Battle Road stage no items. Every category normal Super Battle Road stage no items. All the God of Destruction events no items. I have everything no items. Everything. I'm the first person to do this. I know Ningen had all the global stuff no item, but all the extreme Super Battle Road stages exist. You know, that's, hey, Ningen restricted himself to global. There's a lot more stages over here, brother, and your boy has got them all done. So, I mean, there's nothing left for me to do. I got every single stage no item. There's nothing. There's nothing. It's all done. It's all done. I'm the first in history to have everything done, no items that exists. So there we go. There is no further discussion. I am the Super Battle Road King. I am the Super Battle Road Zeus. I am the Super Battle Road God. It is done. Finito. Finished. This is the best TUR in the game. Look at that damage right there. Do you think that's pretty good? The 15 million, like, total attacks that he put out that turn, I would say is pretty good. So there it is. Fusion is done. Again, all these units were full link level 10s. All these units had equips across the board. You know, it was a long, difficult journey, but we got that shit done. We will see how long until new Super Battle Road stages come out, where I will destroy those as well.